1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. We are back on another Saturday expedition in sports.
Yep.
Welcome, Ken. My name's Ivan.
My name is Ken. We're back again with bringing you the spots.
How are you doing today?
Well, not too bad. Happy to be back.
Great.
I wasn't here last week. And
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back on the show.
Well, how has the sporting week been for you?
To be honest, it's been mainly the week is to do mainly with transfers, and then the Olympics, and then most of the teams having pre-season.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't been much of action happening. It's just to do with the transfers, and then teams preparing, gearing up for next season. Basically, I think that's all that has been happening.
Yes. Next season is going to be upon us very soon.
Yeah, I think
starts-
it's 2 weeks now. Is it 2
Yeah.
weeks?
So it's been a very, very short pre-season.
Yeah, I think it's been a short pre-season.
And with
And-
this kind of summer of sports that we've had, Euros just ended.
Yeah.
There's not enough rest, and players going back for pre-season training and pre-season matches. A couple of Premier League teams have already been in action.
Yeah.
Can you take pre-season action serious?
I think pre-season gives you, obviously it tests the players' fitness. I think it's mainly to do with the fitness levels, because before, obviously, when they break off, everyone is on holidays, and then when they come back, you have to test their fitness. I would say, to be honest, I wouldn't say it helps that much. I think it just gets the manager to have enough time with his players, more so the managers that have just taken over. Because obviously, if you remember, like for example, Arsenal, when Mikel took over, he didn't have that enough time to actually engage in with the team. So I feel it's a time to bond together, to learn your players, learn the style of play, and also give an opportunity to the young lads. Because obviously, I think when you look at pre-season, they tend to give the under-23s a chance to actually feature, to run in. And obviously, I think from then you can pick up a few good players from the academy and bring them to the main team.
The reason I'm asking that is because Arsenal had a pre-season game, the one before the Rangers.
Yeah, where they lost.
Yeah, they lost. Who were they playing against? I can't even remember what team it was. It was a lowly team.
Yeah.
Can you remember?
No, but obviously
Arsenal fans were up in arms, really angry. It was like they're playing a competitive game.
Yeah,
To me, it was a kick in the park because players have been relaxing. You could see none of the players had attached seriousness to the game. And of course, you don't want to get injured too early.
Too early, yeah.
So, but the kind of attachment and the emotions that fans attach to this game, it's good to see fans that passionate, but don't take it too serious.
Well, I think we shouldn't take pre-season too serious, in that when a team lose, go at arms and saying, why didn't he bring these players? Obviously, when you look at the team that played, it was basically young players. So it was not the first. There was a few of the first team players, but I wouldn't judge him on just that game.
And Nketiah was, he missed a few.
Yeah.
And got his detractors to say, you see, this guy should be sold.
Yeah.
He actually missed a few sitters, like dead clear chances.
Yeah. I think on that one, as an Arsenal fan, I think maybe he needs time out. I think they should take him out on loan again, so he can build up, get more gameplay. Because I think Balogun, the other striker, I think he's a bit better than him.
Has Balogun had a run yet? I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, he's had a run and he's good. So I feel he's better off on goal, like having chances than Nketiah. So I feel that Nketiah should maybe go out on loan and build up, get more confidence, and then come back. But yeah, I feel for the Arsenal fans, but maybe this season is our season.
It seems to me that Arsenal has been more active in the transfer season, or are they buying the right players?
Well, obviously someone would argue, as Arsenal, they're always active anyway. They always spot
Arsenal
players.
always linked to everybody,
Yeah, to everybody.
buying no one.
And when you look at the players they're buying now, they're not the big name players.
Not marquee players.
Yeah, not the big name players. But I think when I went back and reviewed the way these players play, they're actually good players. But then it also comes to how will they adapt to the Premier League. Like chances of how Arsenal bought Pepe. Pepe was actually the top scorer by then when he came to the Premier League. But now, he hasn't really performed to the expectations. So how sure are we that these players they're bringing in, regardless whether
the Premiership is always
the
difficult
Premiership is difficult. So
to adapt to.
it depends. They might be the key players we need because when you look at Nuno Tavares, we needed a backup for Kieran Tierney. Because obviously when you look at the previous season, Tierney was a bit injured quite a few games, which forced Mikel to play Xhaka in left back. So if you got a player so you can rotate around, and obviously there's so many games in a season. Leave the Premier League, there's the Capital One Cup, there's the FA. So if you're trying to build a squad, you need a squad depth, and I think it's essential for Nuno Tavares. And then when you look at Lokonga, I think there's speculation that Xhaka might be leaving, so I think he's like kind of a replacement.
There's interest from Roma.
Yeah, from AS Roma. So I think he's like kind of a replacement for Xhaka in the midfield, and he's a young player, so we have high expectations of him. So I think there are players Arsenal
When
need.
you say you mean Arsenal, not TGM, right?
Yeah.
We're not signing anyone.
Oh yeah, I mean Arsenal. So yeah, I think that they need those players. They need the squad depth. So I wouldn't say the players they've bought. And with Nuno Tavares, he's a flexible player. He can play left back. He can play right back. So it's like he's a type of player you need. He's like Maitland-Niles, because he's also flexible. He can play midfield. He can play right back.
He's a forward-minded player.
Yeah, he's a forward-minded player. And obviously there's also speculation of Hector Bellerin leaving. So, with confirmations of Nuno Tavares, Lokonga, and then Ben White, which is still, it hasn't been confirmed yet. I think, they're buying the right players. They're buying the right players. When you come to the attack, I don't think they need more of attacking players. I think they've got enough.
They've got enough, but are they good for the business at this level?
Well,
because they didn't perform last season. On paper, Arsenal's lineup looks very, very dangerous.
Well,
on paper, the striking line.
Yeah.
They look very potent, but they didn't deliver last year.
I think every player has a bad season. Obviously, there's criticisms of Aubameyang, how he didn't perform last season. But don't forget, Aubameyang won the Golden Boot a few seasons back. So you can't drop from here to...
Something was missing last season, by the way. And that was Mesut Ozil.
Yeah, the key
He
player,
seems to be the guy that made everybody shine.
Yeah.
And the politics and everything involved with that was very clear for everyone to see.
Yeah, but at least we're trying to get another Mesut Ozil in Emil Smith's role. He's trying to, play that 10 role. So let's see how the next season, obviously this was his breakthrough season where he became a key player for Arsenal. That's when I realized that when he wasn't playing, the fans were like, where is he? Because he was creating chances. He was the Ozil then.
Creativity.
Yeah, creativity. So I think
thing that Arsenal's missing. I noticed we're talking a lot about Arsenal, but they seem to be the more active in this transfer season. As we say hello to Mr. Positive from Germany. Thanks for joining us, Solomon, Ryan Solomon, Ginac, and official Leo K. Thank you for joining us. You can also contribute to the show by telling us your views of what players. I think there's a lot of, in my opinion, I'm just a prudent person generally, but looking at the amounts suggested, especially for not Roy Keane. Why doesn't Kim coming back? Captain Keane.
Mm.
The price is associated with him. And Haaland as well. I think they're talking about 130 million.
Yeah. So I think Chelsea is the one showing high interests for Haaland.
Yeah, nobody else seems to have showed interest. So I'm surprised that the price is that high.
I think he's obviously the markets right now are ridiculous. The prices are skyrocketing, and Haaland has been one of the main strikers last season. So obviously I think he deserves. I wouldn't say that it should be less than 153. He's on that level. I think he performed on the level of Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe, and they were on the same level. So I think, when they rate him at 150, it's a good price.
Okay. Looking at Man United, have they confirmed Sancho?
Yeah, United have confirmed Jadon Sancho, £73 million, and he's a new addition to the team.
And what, in your opinion, is he going to add?
Well, to me, obviously, I wouldn't talk bad on United.
We know he's a good player.
United fans might eat me up. He is a good player. He is a creative player. He's a dribbler. He loves dribbling. He will perform for United. But I have my doubts in that United has been buying all these key players season after season.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at Pogba, when they bought Pogba, he performed to a certain point, and then later on, he went downhill. So when you look at them buying Di Maria, Memphis Depay, Alexis Sanchez, these were top players by then.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they came to United, we don't know what happened. So with Sancho, he is a good player. I expect him to perform. But it depends on... He is an English boy, so I wouldn't say that it would take him time to adapt to the Premier League, because he has played there before when he was at City.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? He is... I don't have doubts that he is a good player. He will perform for them, but it depends on what the manager brings on the table. Where will he play him? What will be his options? What are the tactics for Sancho to fit in the squad?
Okay. Tottenham. New manager. Utility player signing, is it 3 years?
Yeah.
In Son.
Yes, 4 years. Signed a 4-year deal.
But captain looking shaky. Will he stay? Will he go?
Actually, they've given him a go-ahead to leave. If he wants to leave, they've opened the doors for him. So if anyone comes and offers the right price, I think he will leave. At the moment, we only know of Man City that were interested. But then later on, a few weeks back, Pep came out to say they don't have the funds to buy a striker. Obviously, these are rumors that have been going on and on. Guardiola likes playing these mind games. So we're not sure if he's maybe truthful or if he's just trying to play mind games. Because they might just come up and then they're like, we've offered this amount for Harry Kane. Because I think right now Man City is the only player they need. They just need a striker. They don't need any... Their team is built up already. They don't need any other player. They just need a striker. And I think Harry Kane, if they get him, then I think that will be season over for the other teams.
Right. Liverpool. I understand up to 7 players could be leaving.
Yeah, with Liverpool, I don't think they have been so active in the transfer market.
Seems like they got the broom ready to sweep.
The rumors are even their captain. I think their captain also wants to leave. And rumor has it Arsenal wanted to get him as well. The reason, I don't know why they even wanted Henderson. So it's Liverpool, I think they're trying to get rid of these excess players. I don't think they want to bring in more. They brought Konate, who is, I think, is a centre back. Is he a centre back? Because that's the only name I know of that they've signed, and they haven't mentioned any other person.
Where they signing him from?
To be certain, because obviously I haven't been so much into the Liverpool, transfer market. So because they haven't been so active. So it's mainly Arsenal.
Does that mean they're
United.
comfortable though? They look confident.
I think they've got the players anyway.
Because if a team is rumored to get rid of up to 7 players, but they haven't been seen to be active on the market.
I think they've got enough players and they've got excess. So maybe he's trying to, and obviously you have to first get rid of these players to bring in more new players.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he's trying to do. It's a money issue, the funding. So once he gets rid of these, then maybe they'll be active in the market. But when you look at Liverpool, where are they going to strengthen? I think in all the departments, they've got the right players. Because when you look at the midfield, they've got Fabinho, they've got Henderson, who might leave. And then they've got Van Dijk, who is coming back. Gomez is coming back. Robertson. And then this young right back, I'm forgetting the name. Forgetting the name. Could you remind me?
I don't know much about Liverpool.
What's his name? The right back that pulled out of England. When I remember the name. So it's like their squad is a bit solid. So when you look at their departments, I don't think there's a player they are looking out for in that sense. When you look at the attack, Sadio Mane, Salah, and Firmino, they're really good. So I think, they should just get rid of the players and then maybe start looking for, more additions.
If we look at the top 6 for next season, what is your judgment comparing the teams? How will they line up by the end of the season?
Like in positions?
Yeah.
Well, you put me on the spot for that one. I think it would depend on...
Okay, let's see the top 3, first of all. Who's more likely to be in the top 3?
Obviously, let me first finish the statement. I think it would depend more on the transfer market. Who has performed well in the transfer market?
If
who has brought
the
in
transfer deadline were today, everybody takes what they have now.
Yeah. If the I think if it was today, I still rate Man City to be top, but I think they will be joined with Chelsea, Man City and Chelsea, and then I think United. Yeah, United. And I think Liverpool will come 4th. Yeah, I think that will be 5th. Would I think Arsenal would come 5th.
You would like Arsenal to come 5th, but I can sense that's what you think.
Not that I would like, because when I look at Spurs with their new manager, they're good, but I think Arsenal is also trying to strengthen the team. So I feel it will be Arsenal and Spurs for 5th. So I would say Arsenal 5th and maybe Spurs come 6th.
Okay, so we finally got our top 6 prediction there.
Yeah.
I dragged it out of you.
Yeah, but it will depend on the transfer market though. So if we come back at the end of the transfer, maybe that will change. Depending on who has brought in who and the key transfers,
We can never trust anything nowadays. Things change. Conditions can determine that any business is stopped. So we take what we have today and we go with it. What do we have next on...
just to mention, obviously, on the transfers, Giroud has gone, obviously, he signed for AC Milan. And then we talked about Nuno Travers for Arsenal, Lokonga, Arsenal. And then Son signing a new contract for Spurs. And then with the signings, we would also say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed a 3-year deal to stay at United. So he has extended his contract for 3 more years.
Good move?
Nah, I don't rate Solskjaer. I wouldn't say he's a manager that has kept in the team. But the performances, it's like you have someone who just makes you average. So I think he has just made them average.
I see what they're going for here is stability. Because they've gone through a period where they've changed so quickly.
Now it hasn't worked out.
And as opposed to Arsenal, who are always confident of their managers. No matter what, they don't move.
But you remember Unai was at Arsenal for...
Yeah, I think that was really abysmal, though. It was, and the pressure was high. I don't see the same thing happening to Arteta.
Well, it can happen to him if he doesn't perform.
Well, how
Because
many?
with Unai, I feel he wasn't given enough time. They rushed it. They rushed him, basically. I think they should have given him that season. Maybe he would have changed things round. With Mikel, because if you look at Mikel's season, he has basically done almost the same as Unai.
Yes.
I don't think he has done anything exceptional. But it's all to do with time, and I feel Mikel is building the squad, and this season is the one testing him because he has been with them for...
Yes, this is his first full
season. Yeah.
It seems he's now getting a team of his own.
Yeah.
That he's responsible for everything now.
Yeah, so
you can't blame anybody for signing.
Yeah, for his team. So yeah, he's bringing in his players, he's building his squad. So we'll judge him from that.
But we were on Solskjaer and Man United. That we were debating whether it's a good move or not. I'm saying they're going for stability.
Well, I think in those 3 years, he has signed a 3-year contract.
But a contract doesn't guarantee that you won't be moved.
Yeah, I think he might not finish the 3 years.
Yeah.
Because I feel he might not perform to their expectations. Because I feel right now they've given him the funds to bring in the players. He's getting Sancho. They would want a trophy for that. So it's not you playing the whole season, coming out trophyless. So, he has to perform. If he doesn't perform, I think they'll sack him. Definitely they'll sack him and he won't finish those 3 years. With United right now, I think they need a manager with... Ole is I think he's a good assistant manager, I would say. So he's good working with someone else, because I think he's good when it comes to the dressing room, keeping the players whole. But then when it comes to the tactically, I don't think he's a tactical person. Right. That's why you've watched a few games whereby...
He's a player's manager. Yeah. He's kind of their buddy.
Yeah, that kind of...
Pat them on the back.
Yeah.
He's not the guy that's going to be giving them the hairdryer.
No. Because we've watched United games, I'm a fan of some of the United players. I'm an Arsenal fan. But there are some... Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, extremely good players. But there are times when Solskjaer is playing teams and he's actually stuck. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know the tactics to play. For example, I think when they meet a team that plays... Because United wants to get teams on the counter. I think that's why they give Man City a problem. And that's why usually they beat Man City because of that. But then when they meet a team that tries to cut off that counter attack... Like, for example, if you look at the Arsenal United games or the teams that try and play Wolves, like, for example, the way Wolves plays, they'll try and cut off your wing players. So when they do that, United does not have any other option because they only play it on the wing. Greenwood, Rashford make the run, cross in or cut in, shoot. That's a goal. But if you cut that off, they've got no options. And that's what Arsenal did. Mikel came with a game plan, cut the wings off, played the game 90 minutes. They didn't have any other option. But if he was a manager who had tactics, he would know that now we can't use the wings. Let's try other avenues. But Solskjaer is not that type of manager. So I feel United need a manager who is tactical. And I feel once they get that person, there will be a team to look out for.
Okay, you might see me looking down here. I'm actually watching African Rally Championship that's happening in Tanzania. Getting points and leading the pack is Carl Tundo, British-born driver based in Kenya, driving for Kenya. Uganda's representative is going to run second, I think. Uganda's only representative there is Yasin Nasser, co-driven by...
Oh, so is it still going
Ali
on?
Katumba.
Is it the same one?
It's a championship, so it keeps moving, just like the
so now
Formula
it's
1.
in Tanzania?
Now it's in Tanzania. This is the African Championship. The other one was World Rally Championship.
Okay.
So this is obviously the rally for championship for 2020 being run in 2021. So yes, this round is in Tanzania and Dar es Salaam. It's going to be running till tomorrow, Sunday. So we'll keep you up to date with Uganda's representation there. Okay, moving on. What we got?
Next I think it's the progression of the preseason, how the teams have performed during this preseason. I think all teams have been involved. I think when you look at United, Liverpool, Arsenal, I haven't had so much about Chelsea. But then Everton, I think Everton had a few issues as well because they were flying out for their preseason, but one of their players was left out with child offense cases.
I even thought it was COVID.
No, we hear it's a 30-year-old. They didn't mention the name. And obviously it caused a delay for the team because he was arrested. And I feel we haven't got news confirming who the player is. But it's a 30-year-old. So
if they mention names, people will just go to the squad and
yeah, but obviously if you narrow down the squad and you look at the 30-year-olds, you can have...
they can't be more than 3.
Yeah, they can't be more than 3. So from those 3, there's one that, which is a bit unfortunate, child offense cases. And we've had it in the past with, there's this Sunderland player that was arrested. I think if I get the name right, he actually even played for Man City. And I don't know if he has served his time because he was grooming. It was like sexual grooming, which is a bit not right for such, top players to do such things. Because obviously once you do that, you're messing up your career.
Yeah, career's done.
Yeah, the career is done. And it's not something we can even support here at TGM. We're against such acts, and if he did it, then he should serve his time. So it was unfortunate for that.
Was that a clear case, or was there contestation?
For now, it's something that came up, so they're still investigating. But he was arrested, right. So we wouldn't know. But usually these are actually confirmed because if it comes out, definitely yeah. But we won't say he has a case now till he's proven guilty. Yeah. But yeah, we're against all these acts.
Arsenal's preseason was, the spanner was dropped into the works. They were meant to go to Florida, USA.
Yeah, they were meant to go to Florida, and we felt sorry for the Arsenal fans in Florida because the team couldn't make it. They had a few COVID positive cases, and it was best for them not to travel. So they left the team here. So obviously the players are isolating, and preseason was cut in Florida. So they will have organized a few preseason matches here.
These American tours, obviously a few European teams go out there and play the AC Milans and all, but they're more of a money-making franchise, really, aren't they?
Yeah,
touching base with the fans out there. I think Asia, America.
It's to do with money. I think the people in the US offer maybe more money than any other continent, and I feel obviously Arsenal has roots with the US because even the boss, the owner is American, Stan Kroenke. So I feel there is a connection between Arsenal and the US. And I think when you look at I'm not sure if it's to do with the teams sponsored by Emirates, because when you look at all the Emirates teams, they're all getting involved in in these preseasons outside in the US.
Obviously, you have that Emirates Cup.
Yeah, so I think maybe there's a link between the US, Emirates, and maybe it was a joint, connection between the three.
Brand recognition.
Yeah, between the brands and
okay, if we look at the situation now, Arsenal's pre-season cancelled, or the tour cancelled due to COVID cases. But in the UK, we are ready to get into the stadia with whatever, whether it's half numbers or whatever. we're ready to have people in the stadium. We saw
It's not
the
even
Euro.
half numbers. Full stadium.
But here we have our players having COVID. That means some fans will have COVID as well. COVID is within.
Definitely.
So what's going on?
I think right now it's they opened everything basically on the 19th, and it's a do or die. Once you open, basically right now we're mixing with everyone,
Exactly.
whether they're COVID positive, whether they're not. But it's the reality at the moment.
So
Because and you know the funny.
this is not a health show, but it looks to me that the winter or the autumn is going to be peak
And the funny.
because cases are on the rise again.
Yeah, you know the question. Obviously, I'm asking myself. They've opened before the
Without
players.
any restriction.
Yeah, before the players had their own bubbles.
Yeah.
In that you could not mix.
Mm-hmm.
So with these rules, do they actually work on these
Because
players?
the players as well, they have family. They have to meet people they haven't been able to meet when they were
But
in the
are
bubble.
they allowed yet to do
I
that?
don't know, but
Or is
well,
it-
even if they were not allowed, still cases came through.
Yeah.
And that is even more serious. If cases came through while you are in a bubble, because I presume they must have been in a bubble preparing to travel to America, because America still has restrictions for Europeans.
Or maybe these were carried on cases for, obviously now preseason is starting. Players are coming back from holidays. So would it be a situation whereby someone went on holiday and came back with a virus and then, tried to give it to other people?
It is mad. 'Cause,
Yeah, but I'm asking myself if they're opening up. Maybe if the Premier League has its own rules of saying that the teams will still remain in the bubble.
And again, you can have rules for some and different rules for others, because once society is open, it's open. The entertainment places are open without restriction.
Yeah.
The race horses, what's they called? Horse racing is open. That collects people on a daily basis.
Yeah.
The golf places are open, like every sport, rugby, what have you. Everything's open. Then you just can't keep the footballers in.
Yeah, I know, but it's we're living in a tricky world because right now we don't know what they would do when the league starts. Before players would go and celebrate in front of the fans, or some of them would go in the fans. So is it something that is going to happen now? Because before they had put restrictions that you're not supposed. Even celebrating with your own teammate was not allowed. So it's a bit of a, but obviously it's the government rules. So what can we say?
Okay. Any other teams having an exciting pre-season period?
Well,
Any tours cancelled?
I haven't had much from most of these teams. We didn't talk about Everton. Everton got a new manager,
Okay.
Rafa Benitez,
Oh.
who I think is a good addition because of his history with Liverpool. But I objected that because you know how Everton, the Merseyside derby, Everton and Liverpool,
Yeah.
they don't come close. So how is it that he took over that job? But maybe because it's been a long while since he left Liverpool.
Well, it's not like he's born in Liverpool, because then that rival. It's like Steven Gerrard going to manage Everton. That's abominable. But he's simply managed Everton before. Rather, he managed Liverpool before. He's attached, but it's not in him.
Well. Yeah, but it was. But to be honest, moving on from that, whether it's the rivalry and all that, I think it's a great move for Everton because I read Rafa Benitez when he was at Newcastle. He did actually performed for them, and
I think they didn't. They had a decent season.
Yeah, they had a decent season, and obviously it was to do with funding because they didn't give him enough money to buy the players, and I think that's the reason why he left. But now he has joined Everton, who are actually willing to buy players, who have been buying players.
It was Everton, I was saying, had a good season.
They had a good season with Carlo Ancelotti.
Yes.
But then Ancelotti was taken over by Madrid, so he moved back. And obviously, I think that's money. I think it's money-minded because
Yes.
I don't think he would have moved back. And with Benitez, I think they will.
Do you think it's money or it's still he went for the higher profile team
Nah,
when it came?
I don't think he went for the high-profile team because he was there, and he was sacked. I think he was sacked.
Exactly. So he's going back to finish. He's got unfinished business to conclude.
And
out
I
there.
feel obviously if you're sacked by a team, you'd come back and reflect. You wouldn't just go back there unless they're offering something, juicy. And I feel they offered something juicy for him to move back because he wasn't doing bad at Everton. They liked him as a manager. He did great for the team. And I thought that if he stayed with the team, they would actually come to the, maybe even compete for the top 6. But with Rafa Benitez, I think he will try and emulate what Ancelotti did or even do better. So we have high expectations of him.
Okay. All right. That seems to be it, unless they have any other outstanding issues for the pre-season managers. Any moves?
Pre-season mainly, that would be it. There isn't anything much. Teams are obviously in the transfer market looking here and there for players. And yeah, we just wait to see who they bring in. I think with football, mainly, those are the main issues in football at the moment. If we cross over to Formula One, last weekend it was the Silverstone
British Grand Prix.
the British Grand Prix, and we got to see Lewis coming out top as expected, and obviously he performed all his these antics, waving the flag, and he was so excited to actually win, which was a good thing because
Always good to win
on the
at
home soil.
Yeah.
But to me, he won, but
Are you one of those?
He wasn't going to win.
It was a hollow victory thing.
it was because I wouldn't say he kicked his competitor out, but it was a crash that was that decided. This was in the first lap.
Yes.
Of
yes.
the rest.
But was it him? Wasn't it Verstappen who actually bumped into Lewis?
No.
Because analysis shows Lewis was right to keep on the inner side. So Verstappen went out and came back.
But
Verstappen went wide and then came back in.
we would say he was ahead.
Who
of
was
Hamilton.
ahead?
Verstappen. He was in front of
Yeah, but
Hamilton.
he was overtaken.
No, in that incident,
Uh-huh.
he was
He
ahead.
was the one trying to overtake.
And he had overtaken. He had overtaken him. So basically what Lewis had to do, keep inside, but I think he tried to also come outside.
I think this debate will
Because
continue
remember,
forever.
when you overtake, because he overtook on the left,
yes.
No, on the
Who's
inside.
that? Who's
Max.
yes.
So he went wide on the wide bit.
Yes.
Obviously, when you overtake wide and then come back.
And you expect that your
Yeah, he would
opponent...
know. Obviously, Hamilton would know that that's what he's going to do. So he
Yeah,
had to
but
back off.
Did you expect Hamilton to pull the brakes?
Basically, that's why he had
Why?
to do.
We're in the
Yeah.
race. We're in the race.
Obviously,
Everybody, we're
so
going
he
for
didn't
big
pull the
prize.
brakes.
Yeah.
That's what led to the crash.
As a driver, you should also expect that there's two choices this guy's going to take. He's either going to brake and let me go, or he's going to stick to his lines. But what do I do? Obviously, you have very mini microseconds to.
I wouldn't
react.
even call it braking, because Hamilton was on the inside.
Yes, but Verstappen swung out and swung back in.
Yeah, so he would have backed off or kept inside to let him go.
Listen,
because that was a
we
narrow.
were fighting for the Grand Prix. Why do you expect me to back off? No, I'm not backing off. You back off.
Okay, he didn't. Basically, he didn't back off, but it was his fault.
The thing is,
basically, it was Hamilton's
did
fault.
not ram into him. He didn't ram into his rear. Verstappen, what did he lose? He lost his rear tire.
Mm-hmm.
So if you let your rear tire swing into mine, or into my nose, or to my front left tire, it's on you.
I think basically it was to do with the they were all competing. They all wanted to go for it.
Exactly.
And it started from the start.
And this goes to the stewards as well. So the stewards have seen the incident. They've called it. Hamilton was given what? Penalty? 10 seconds?
10 seconds, yeah.
Yeah. And this is the rules. Otherwise, they just say we disqualify Hamilton for an illegal maneuver, which was not the case.
Well, he was penalized by the steward.
Which means that's the right penalty for that kind of incident.
But obviously, when you look at the team principal, Red Bull, Christian Horner, he has come up to say that it was a light penalty for that type of incident. And they are looking at handing out a review to the FIA. Because obviously under the FIA code, sporting code, the competitors can request a right of review up to 14 days. And the 14 days will be ending on, I think, August the 1st. And that will be the rest day in Hungary next week.
So shall we?
So we're not sure
whether Christian Horner to bring in.
I feel with Christian Horner.
Did you hear the radio communication between the two? It was mad. Christian Horner spoke over the radio to the principal of Mercedes.
Toto Wolff.
Yes, and they were going back and forth.
That's every time.
And
this
Mercedes guy told Christian, like, listen, if you have issues with what has happened, take it up with the stewards upstairs. Don't come telling me. Because he was telling him to check your emails because I've sent you the photo, you know, those photo lapse videos where they show you how the incident went in super slow motion. And Mercedes Prince was saying, listen, it's rest day. I don't check my emails. Don't be telling me to check my emails. I'm concentrating on the race. So if you have an issue, go upstairs, talk to the rest stewards and do your business.
Well, he's obviously has been on and on about the issue, saying obviously on Max's side, everyone was saying that Max was overly aggressive in that instant. Obviously we know him; he's an aggressive driver, so that's what they bring. That's the card they use all the time. They're saying he was too aggressive, but then this time round, maybe Hamilton tried to prove a point.
Maybe this is why we like this kind of competition among them. We know these are hard-headed competitors. They'll go for the win no matter what, and they'll give us an exciting race.
Yeah, obviously they wouldn't care. And Max is a really aggressive, driver. But when you look at it, Christian Horner was arguing that when you look at Max, he has 0 penalty points on his license and has not been found guilty of any track misjudgments in the recent years. So you wouldn't say that he's always at fault because he's proven on his license.
Maybe
he hasn't
he's just
been
clever.
Or his faults.
You see,
and then when you compare it to Hamilton,
breaking the law, but you know the loopholes of the law. Doesn't mean you don't break the law. You don't get caught.
When it comes to Hamilton, he's had quite a few.
Yeah, true.
So I feel it was actually I watched that race from beginning, and after lights out, there were unlock-ons all the time from the beginning, and I expected for them to crash. It's
a bit like Hamilton and Alonso. Is it Alonso? The guy used to drive for Ferrari.
Yeah, it was Alonso and then Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, but the other guy, the older one, Alonso, they had very bitter spats with him. And Hamilton was much younger than the fellow.
Yeah.
Didn't have a care in the world, would do what he wants.
Of which now it's the case.
Yeah.
Verstappen is younger. And now he's trying to do exactly what Hamilton did.
The young upstart.
Yeah. So it was actually an interesting race. Obviously, congratulations to Hamilton for winning the home Grand Prix. He was so happy to win it. And with that race, I feel if Max was still in the race, I don't think Hamilton would have won. I think maybe Max would come first and then Hamilton second. That's why.
Why would you think that?
Because obviously from the previous races, Max has been performing better than Hamilton.
Is it the better car?
I think their car this season is better than Mercedes, and they've performed really well. And obviously the championship, I expect Max to win it, unless something goes, sideways. Obviously we're looking at this crash. It's going to cost them 1.3.
I wouldn't worry about the money. These
No.
These teams are loaded.
Obviously, they're loaded, but they have a cap. They brought the cap on spending. They gave them a budget now, which, to be certain, I think it's 145 million pounds a year. So if you get such incidents whereby a car is crashing, you have to fix it, that would be 1.3. So they have a risk of not going over the budget. This was brought this year, I think this year or last year, the budget cap.
Well, they should be
So
careful doing these funny maneuvers.
Yeah, so yeah, when you crash, it will be affecting the team.
Yeah. I think that's a
you
good
get a
thing,
penalty.
though. It's a good thing because previously they were just spending with no limit. Yeah.
So you get a penalty for it. So yeah, we expect the next Grand Prix.
But what's the penalty for overspending? Because if it's if something they can forego and go for the kill, so be it. It's a risk worth taking.
Yeah, well, obviously I don't know what the FIA does. I haven't gone so much. All I know there's a cup, 145, and once you exceed that, then yeah, maybe points, deducting points off you. But yeah, looking at the table right now, still Max is still top. I think 7 points, just 7 points ahead of Hamilton. And yeah, so we wait for the next race when Max is back, and we see how it goes. I think that'll be Hungary, yeah.
So obviously he didn't get any points for the last race.
No.
And Hamilton got how many points has Hamilton got? First, second, third. How are they standing?
Oh, first, second, third. Let me just get the
Formula
table
One.
here. But all I know is he's ahead of Hamilton by 7 points.
In the meantime, World Cup Olympic football is going on. Team GB is leading Japan by 1-0. It's 76 minutes gone. Canada has beaten Chile. That game's ended. China drawn with Zambia 4-4. Canada beat Chile by 2-1. Sweden beat Australia by 4-2. It's raining goals in the ladies tournament. The Netherlands are drawing with Brazil. It's halftime in that game, 1-1. And New Zealand is trailing the USA by 1-0. And it's 31 minutes gone in that game. Don't know when the men are playing, but that's the women's football.
I think the men, did they play yesterday or the day before? I think Brazil played Germany.
Okay, do we know anything about Team GB, men's? No? Any interesting names?
Nah, not really.
No. Who do they choose anyway to go to Olympics? Because I think you can't be capped.
Oh, did they take Team GB though?
Maybe they didn't.
Because I haven't heard
I
it
haven't heard anything
on
about
the
them.
news. I don't think Team GB was there.
Okay, what's next on our agenda as we
Yeah,
come
it's
to the final furlong?
the Olympics.
In the Olympics, I think one thing of interest is there's two news stories. If you relate it to Uganda, there was the weightlifter
Who disappeared?
who went out to Japan, disappeared,
Julius
hadn't qualified.
Sechitoleko?
By the way, yes, he hadn't qualified for Olympics, so he went out there. I don't know how he expected to qualify because there was no qualifiers in Japan. So this guy hadn't reached the mark for Olympics. He somehow ended up in Japan, and I don't think he went with the contingent because they travel separately sometimes. But he went there. He found that he couldn't get the mark for Japan because obviously Japan is under lockdown. That was controversial enough. How did he get there? Who sent him? Was it Uganda Olympic Committee? How?
Yeah.
But then he ends up in Olympic Village or in the Ugandan camp where they had a few cases of COVID. Remember, Uganda was the first team to arrive, followed by Australia. but Uganda was the first team to have COVID cases.
Mm.
Yeah. So he ends up in this camp again. I think lives there for a couple of days or nights, and then leaves a note saying, guys, you know the situation back home. I've gone to find my way. And then it raises the whole hullabaloo in Uganda. The ambassador of Japan's involved and all that. Then they mount a search for the guy. They found him and took him back to Uganda.
Yeah, he returned.
Apparently, he might catch a case, but I think everybody in Uganda is sympathetic, but the government is just playing for the gallery. Just to show
That they're going
that
to do
there's
something.
rules and regulations.
But there's nothing.
Yes. Well, he was questioned by CID yesterday.
But to be honest, if he went into the camp, how did he get into the camp? And how did he get from Uganda?
Because
to
there
Japan?
must be a criteria, like from Uganda Olympic Committee and National Council of Sport, to say A, B, C, D, these are 50 athletes plus officials that we're sending to Olympics in 2021. So nobody can come from wherever to just join those 50 people.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a bit of
Yeah. But if somebody is to be questioned, it shouldn't be just Sechitoleko. It should be the officials as well.
yeah. How did they let him go?
The whole committee. How does this happen? So obviously he went into that camp confident that he would be among his fellow countrymen and sit tight.
Yeah, but
So systems are wrong.
it's so surprising how he even went into that camp.
Systems are so wrong. So he shouldn't be blamed. But obviously the big people will run away with this. And
But
him being in the camp means he was earning a per diem. Because if you're on national duty, you earn money. You earn money. But obviously we know there's been reports, let's say allegedly, in the past, where officials kind of take a cut or claim the whole per diem of athletes and of other officials. So could this also have been a case that he was there as a ghost?
oh yeah, to get the money.
So somebody's getting his money. That's why he can't be thrown out of the camp.
Possible
Yes. This
possibilities.
anyway.
But it
Ugandans
was
are very
quite disappointing. But you know, if you're trying to leave, why do you leave or not? Because that's so
He
funny.
was being courteous.
Nah.
Wait, what if he had just... I think he made a lot of news by not qualifying for Olympics, yet being there.
So they knew him.
So if he hadn't gone back to Uganda, still people would have questioned, there's a guy there, a weightlifter. We ain't seen him in the games, but where is he?
But with such things, in Japan, obviously, if you disappear, I don't think Japan is one of those countries where it's actually easy to, start up a life, language, and all that.
I think he could have managed because there's a lot of other Ugandans there. He could, even the thought that I'm going to leave this camp was facilitated by someone. But I think when the new government got involved, maybe the people that had
Because of COVID, maybe.
accommodated him felt the pressure and said to him, you know what?
So was it the Japanese government that tracked him down?
I think the government and both governments, because the Ugandan government was trying to... You saw them when they were doing press conference in Uganda that the Japanese ambassador was there. They were trying so much to placate the Japanese government. And I'm thinking this is political but also financial, because Japanese government is financing a lot of things, especially the road infrastructure.
Yeah.
They don't want to anger
The Ugandan.
a friendly government. So
No, it was disappointing on his side, and CID, I don't know what they're gonna do. As in, what's the case?
yeah, for me,
What
that's
what
a lot
would the
of
case
noise.
be?
That's a lot of noise over nothing. Because the only thing was it might be to bring the nation into disrepute, and such a case carries a fine probably,
But
and it's always a very very old law.
but does it affect him? as a person going back.
That's what I'm saying.
If he's trying to go back there.
Going back to Japan, probably, yes. But the fine could be 500 shillings. Yeah, if they take him to court. You could find on the books that the fine is 500 shillings.
Or in Uganda.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. All this is just to show that government is working. Otherwise, you should just close the book on that. But interesting news from the Olympics on the Ugandan side is Uganda has an Olympian out there in the sport of rowing. It's not a popular sport in Uganda. More popular in Europe, where they use these kayaks or those sports. I call them kayaks. But we got Ugandan-born Irish, Grace Kathleen Noble, who's competing for Uganda. She came 5th in her first race, so she didn't get the automatic qualification, but she qualified for another race, which is like, in athletics where they choose the fastest losers. So Kathleen clocked a time of 8 minutes 21 seconds and
So
85
fastest loser.
Microseconds.
Was she the fastest loser?
She will go into that race among those fastest losers to try and qualify. I think there's either 1 or 2 spaces left. So there's hope that she will. But yes, she's carrying Uganda's flag. She's born in Nakaseke Hospital, by the way.
And this is kayaking, yeah?
It's not exact, because kayaking is rowing.
Okay.
Like the Oxford, Cambridge thing.
Yeah.
But you're one person in the boat.
Okay.
That thing. Yeah, she's in that. But she's also a champion swimmer. She's swam. Wait a minute. Where's her stats now? She's she's competed in swimming before, where she's achieved Uganda's best time so far in swimming, in the butterfly stroke, which the time of 30 seconds, 30.80 seconds in a 50-meter butterfly. So she's a girl that's very comfortable in water.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Uganda doesn't normally have rowers. Sometimes we have swimmers. They don't do too well. We have swimmers in the Paralympics as well, and I think we have one going this year. But in these major sports, she's the first, and we hope she gets into the medal ranks. I think we've got a swimmer.
Ranks. There's a swimmer. There's a young girl. What's the name? All I know, there's a young girl swimming.
Is she doing Olympics?
Yeah, in the Olympics.
Okay.
In the Olympics.
But there we go.
So we don't have any callers today?
No callers today. Our colleagues are enjoying the weekend. But I think we're going to call it a day for now, unless you have anything more to add to the show tonight.
Nah. Basically, not really. It's just we just have to wait, see what happens in the transfer market. Oh, and rumors are something I forgot to mention. Hakim Ziyech, Chelsea forward. He's rumored to, I think AC Milan wants him on loan, which I don't know if will be possible for Chelsea to hand him out on loan. Obviously, he didn't get the best of seasons. I think he's trying to adapt to the Premier League, and I think he actually performed well. So I don't. And right now it's to do with the squad. He's losing out on the first spot, trying to come out on the bench. So maybe Chelsea will give him a chance to move out.
All right.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd forgotten to mention. Emil Smith-Rowe signed a new contract for Arsenal, and he got the new Shat 10.
Shat 10.
And yeah, they have high expectations of him.
Okay, because he was rumored to be on the wanted list for Aston Villa.
Yeah, and then they even brought fake news of him signing for Aston Villa. But yeah, I don't think Arsenal would let him go.
I don't know why Aston Villa seems to think it's within Arsenal's size these days, but obviously they beat Arsenal on 2 occasions, both home and away. So yeah, Anyway, that's it. I can tell you it's hotting up in the African Rally Championship out there in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And we're making plans to be bringing you live footage of this African Championship. But when we do that, I think the next rally is going to be Zambia. And then there will be the Rally of Zambia and Rally of Rwanda, which is the Mountain Gorilla Rally. We will try to bring you these live as they go ahead. But obviously you can see the times clash, so we might have 2 feeds, one for the rally and one for us here in the studio. But and again, we'll be bringing you some interviews as well of the people out there on the ground in the rally. So keep on supporting TGM so that we bring you all this stuff and more entertainment. Otherwise, with that, we sign out for this week's sports show, Tgm Sports Show. My name's Ivan.
Yeah, my name is Ken, and we'll see you again next week, Saturday, same time.